propose to my wife. I tell my doctors here in the UK that I'm about to get married, and they said, right, we need you to invite your wife in. So I go in with my wife, and we sit down, and they're like, we understand you want to get married, and we're happy for you, but if you want to try for children, the hydroxycarbamide that you've been taking for nearly all your life, you have to come off that. And I'm like, why? And they said, because there's a type of chemotherapy in it. There's a type of chemo in it that could affect the reproductive system. So I've been taken aback, like, whoa, like I wasn't never told this. I think also another thing in the medical system, we need to really, really have a discussion about how people are told about what they're taking and all these kind of things. People need a clear information and indication of what they're taking, how it can affect their body, because a lot of people are not told.
Sure. Affinity Xtra, be extra.
Yo, people, this is your boy here, Roger Moore from Affinity Xtra, celebrating gospel music of black origin, and I'm on the station with my Congolese brother, you know what I'm saying, brother all day long, you know what I'm saying, the cousins of Romella, you know what I mean, like all the man and companies, long lost cousin, you know, the one that's still, you know,
I hear that.
Anana, you know, let's carry on, man, you know, learn about my Congolese names, man. Let's look at the Belgian football team, but let's not open up that kind of worms right there. So yeah, and we want to talk about the lack of apologies, which I've emphasized from Uncle King Leopold and his worse than Hitler genocides. But we won't go into all that stuff today. This is not the Edge show for that. But
listen, people don't know. You got to tell the real. People don't know. People think Hitler was the worst guy in history.
Bro, listen, man, you say Leopold in Africa, mate, you know, you talk about a massacre beyond, bro, and that's another subject. And what I will say to people is that this is not about digging up the past. Every year we remember the dead in World War II, World War I, and all the wars that England got involved with. Also, we need to also remember that the atrocities that have happened, that is against genocides that's happened against not only African people but also Native Americans, also the Aboriginal people in Australia's, you know, wipeouts of nations. But that's not today's subject. We are talking about something which does affect people who are of African descent. Let me just bring context to this. I am talking alongside ASTAR, who's going to go into talking about his foundation and what he's aiming to do and his journey with sickle cell. But first of all, just want to give you introduction why we're here today. The same day that ASTAR was going to send me sent out a message out. I was going to contact him because I did I just released a video that I did with an expert, a blood expert, and we touched on about sickle cell.
And she shared some gems, man. She shared some real information.
And you could hear my ignorance in there, yeah, bro, because little things have been said to our community, but not enough. We have people come in and do little guest things, so you formulate a perspective. Right. And like even my perspective of, it's good for us to have sickle cell in Africa because it protects us from malaria. It's good to, you know, sickle cell only affects Afro-Caribbeans and not Africans. I actually thought that, bro. Like, I mean, it's not until I found out that you had sickle cell, I was like, hold on, when did ASTAR come through the you know, I was trying to work out, you know, something that, so I, you know, and it's absolutely great talking to a professional, and it's a shame we are probably 50 years in this country in terms of tackling this condition, and we're just starting. Yeah, but we won't mention about the whole you know, the flu epidemic that we just had the other day and about how they sorted that in 1 year. But anyway, still, yeah, but that's a whole open up a whole other can of worms out there still. Yeah. But I think that obviously with yourself, bro, obviously I know yourself personally, and I've heard a lot of elements of your journey, you know, and I felt like from a professional, she really challenged my what can I do, yeah, because I felt like I can't do nothing, you know. I struggled with understanding why you're desperate for my blood as a black person, you know, not realizing that it's my people my African people who need my blood. It's okay for me to do that. If my blood is good enough, why ain't I giving my blood? You know what I'm saying? If I can. You know what I'm saying? Not always you can, but if I can. So it's a challenge. That was a challenge to me straight there and then, which I am going to document if I'm able to give blood. And then obviously go through the process and encourage people to go through that process. And it was traumatic going through that process. So it led me to have a conversation here with ASTAR. We're gonna touch back. We will touch base about music. So we're gonna check us out. We're gonna talk a touch base of music because you can't come on the show and a feed section and touch base about music, bro. But we want to really chop into your journey with sickle cell. Now, firstly, bro, just introduce yourself to everyone out there, yeah, and then just introduce us to where we all started for you when it comes to sickle cell, and what age, and just be real and crusty about it, bro. If it has to be crusty, how did it feel the first what you call it, crisis? Crisis. Where were you? And like, I remember when I had my first seizure when I was epileptic. I never forget the spot, bro. I'll never forget the day I had my first seizure to this very day. Unfortunately, it was connected to Liverpool playing football. But anyway, so yeah, I never forget the day. So just bring the whole context and be real about it as well, brother. Yeah?
Sure. Well, my name's Ali Dor. My artist name is ASTAR. I'm from East London and I have sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is a hereditary disease that affects the red blood cells that are usually round shape, but with people with sickle cell, most of their blood shape is like a crescent shape. Their blood cells are like a crescent shape. And what will cause a sickle cell crisis is maybe extreme weather, fatigue, tiredness, stress, any sort of anything could really trigger on a sickle cell crisis. Cool. And when that happens, it's the red blood cells that clog up against each other, and it's difficult for the red blood cells to carry oxygen around the body, and it gets clogged up in the blood vessels, and it causes excruciating pain to parts of the body, legs, arms, chest, head, anywhere. And it's a hereditary disease, so it comes from both parents who can carry a specific genotype. It could be AS, which is the trait. It could be SS, which is sickle cell. And my mum has sickle cell, my dad has the trait. Back in the 80s, I think the conversation of sickle cell wasn't really had. So people would come together, especially in Africa, people would come together and not have that conversation. So I was born in 88 and born in full-blown sickle cell. So I grew up, it affected me with school, everyday life, my studies, my social life. Growing up as a child, just wanted to be a normal child, playing football, riding bikes. A lot of that always affected me. I remember my first crisis was I was in Belgium. It's the first one I remember, being in Belgium, being around 5 years old, and just remember my body going through pain. I remember my cousin just carrying me over her shoulder and then walking us to the hospital. I'm not sure what was happening in the ambulance at the time, but there, where my auntie lived in Belgium at the time, in Brussels, the hospital was literally like a 5-10 minute walk. So that's the earliest memory I have, but it's affected me in different ways where, I remember the woman you were speaking to, the expert, she was talking about how, you could have lack of blood flow to the brain, which will cause a stroke and things like that. But you also have lack of blood flow to other parts of the body. Mine was the hip. And at the age of 25, I had a left hip replacement. And that's some of the ways that it affects me till today.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy, bro. You said about from an age of 5, how the doctor explains it about the pain when you have the crisis. How does it, because I can imagine what type of pain, it sounds kind of weird, but is it a pain where is it like you can't move, or is it like a pain where you every time you move it gets worse, or is it a pain that it just hits you like just a numbing? What type of pain, or is it just patchy, or
it's a pain. I think everyone deals with crisis differently, but the pain, anyone will tell you it's excruciating pain. Some people can't move, some people it's just a pain that really hits you, or it's gradual. It really depends on how it comes, but it's a pain that's unexplainable. I can't tell you what kind of pain it is. It's a sharp pain going through your body. It's you know, studies have said it's worse than birth pains, than labor pains. So I can't even try and imagine anyone with sickle cell can't even explain what kind of pain you go through when having a sickle cell crisis. It's difficult to explain. It's very difficult to explain.
And something you mentioned at first, and I have to salute my wife for this, yeah? When I first met my wife, yeah? Because she got thalassemia trait, yeah? She straight away says, we need to get tested. So what do you mean? What do you mean? Because I got thalassemia trait. So if you get the sickle cell trait, and my nan's Portuguese, so I could easily have the Mediterranean, where more Mediterranean people have thalassemia. She said that, you know, we have to seriously think of not getting married. So what do you mean? Because if we could have children together, thalassemia and sickle cell, you just look at a national disaster, you know.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, we got married 25 years, about just almost 25 years now. So that was in the 90s, mid to late 90s.
That was at a time where people weren't really having them conversations. So I do commend your wife for that, because I was born maybe 10 years before that.
Yeah.
And people were not having them conversations.
No. Bro, listen, man, I don't think people have the conversation now. Bro,
So you can imagine how it was back then.
Because let's be real, bro. This is something serious. Pastors, if you're listening in and you're giving marriage counseling advice, yeah, and you're doing advice about support, financial importance. Now, if you got, we want to encourage black love, and you know what I mean, and whatever. We know, you said no Umar Johnson speech, but the reality of when you have two African people of African descendants, even if they're quarter African, yeah, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't matter, guys. You know, you need to check if you got any of these traits. My nan, funny thing, my nan said to me, we ain't got no blood. You know, when they feel like it's disgusting, we have a pride thing to say, we haven't got that because we're healthy and strong. But they don't realize that you could have the trait. So I have to commend my wife, because she was like, yo, we gotta get this. Fortunately, I haven't got no trait or my nan was white. There was nothing in my family, but you don't know, because I know with my epilepsy, but nobody told my parents that, you know what I mean, that was the case. So they just had that so and so had a turn, and it was in my family with the epilepsy. So nobody tells you that. So this is a challenge that I want to put out straight away to ministers, to marriage counselors, just in general circles, people looking to date, you know. Find out, check out, you know, it's nothing to be ashamed of, but to find out and be secure, because your children is where it's at. Watching your child go through pain that you cannot do nothing about.
And Roger, let me add to that.
Go on.
My mum has sickle cell, and I have sickle cell. So I grew up in a single parent home. My dad went to jail when I was young. When he came out, him and mum had separated. They weren't they parted ways. I still had a relationship with my dad. Good. Very grateful for. But my mum has sickle cell. She has sickle cell, and so do I. So you can imagine someone with sickle cell having crisis and having to look after a son that has sickle cell. So I had times where I was in hospital and the doctor's coming to tell me that my mum's in the same hospital in another ward. She just had a crisis. So I've had to leave my ward to go and see her in her ward. So that's why I've been so passionate. And what you're saying there, especially like pastors, like this is what I'll talk about my charity in a bit, but one of the things I'm aiming to do is do workshops or do seminars in church.
Yeah, man.
In black churches, because pastors, if you want to marry people, you could do marriage counseling, that's great. But one of the things you need to ask the black people that you're marrying, get yourself tested, know your genotype. Because if we look at, you know, generations to come after us, I would never want my children, I got 2 daughters, I would never want them to go through what I went through. So I'm like your wife, bro. I had that conversation with my wife. I said, I've got sickle cell. Before we continue, I need to know your genotype. She told me she's AA, she has no sickle cell. And I said, I believe you, but I can't just go off of your words.
You know, the one there still, yeah. Yo, but
she
show
got tested.
me the paper.
Yeah, she got tested. I saw the paper and I said, you know, I can move on from that. I'm a huge believer in health over love.
Yeah,
huge.
Yeah. And I think, you know, no offense, churches, yeah, and I think thanks, because we have seen the power of God, and both myself and Ali are both passionate Christians, you know, but we in our Afro-Caribbean churches have been very lean on God when it comes to a lot of the physical. We expect miracles. We believe that God, you know, and I can imagine ministers, and you're both AS, if that's the right what I was saying. If you both AS and you're saying that, listen, God will bless and cover your children. Don't worry about it. God's got you in this marriage, and I feel like they're failing you because they're not advising to believe in God. That's
a wrong advice, man.
Bro, wrong. And you know that happens, you know, and that will happen as well. That's a scary thing about it.
Because you know there are, you know, people that are very charismatic within the church and would say just have faith, and just like I've heard of pastors themselves who had known that they had the trait and had married someone with the trait and said, God, let's have, and they've got children with sickle cell. They've got children with, that are having crisis every month, and you're seeing them in hospital and all of that stuff. And we're saying, you know, God will, no, like God gives us the wisdom in order to say, I am not going to allow this kind of suffering to continue in my family. And you know what happens? You know the top 3 countries in the world with sickle cell?
Go on.
Nigeria, India, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm from Congo. My wife's Nigerian. In India, you know what they're doing? They're saying that they want to eradicate sickle cell in the next 10 years. In the next 10 to 20 years, we want to eradicate sickle cell. And you know how they do that? They're going to have an approach where if 2 people get married, firstly, that's got to be something within the law. If you have any type of trait or sickle cell or whatever it is, they will discourage that. They will discourage people getting together to have children if they have the same genotype. If that continues and that conversation is had, you can
systematically, literally,
in 3 to 5 generations down, there could be no sickle cell. I've got sickle cell, my wife hasn't. My 2 daughters have the trait. If I talk to them and teach them knowledge on sickle cell, and they've seen my experience, my daughters have seen me have a crisis. They've been in the same room, I've been in pain. Do you know what I'm saying? They're too young to come see me in hospital, but there will be a time where if the Lord tarries and keeps me, maybe I'll have a crisis and they'll come see me in hospital. You know, I will teach them about that, and I'll let them know, when you marry, if you choose to marry, please make sure the person has no trait or no sickle cell. And what happens is their children now might have the trait or might not, but the chances of them having a trait would be very low. And that generation, I will ask my daughters to tell their children, if we're still alive and our daughters have children, we will speak to them. And then if they have AA and they get someone with AA, their children has no sickle cell. So we're looking at the lineage where sickle cell levels can actually go down, but we're not doing our job.
See,
we need to know genotype. We need to speak about our genotype. We need to have that conversation. Black people need to have that conversation, especially if you know someone has sickle cell and you know what they've been through. You have someone in your family, or you know, I buried in the last year and a half, I've known 5 people with sickle cell that have passed away. 5 people. Wow. You know, so we need, and these are like, all of them were under 40 or under 45. All of them. 4 of them were under 30. One of them died on his 30th birthday. You know, and you know, this is real life, and it's affecting our community. And if the people who we're supposed to see fly the flag for our community, i.e. the church, is not discussing it, how can we have hope in our community and in society where we want to help each other? And so this is a real difficult conversation to have, but we have to have it. And the church is one of the communities that have to, not just the church, places of worship, whether wherever you're having Black and Asian people, or in general, because it affects white people as well. But the reason I emphasize on Black, because it affects around 80% of us that are black. In the UK, 15,000 people in the UK have sickle cell. I would say around maybe 70 to 80 of them are black, maybe even more.
Right, 80% of them are black. Okay, so
don't quote me on that.
But it's hard. It's majority. Yeah, it's majority.
Exactly.
We are nothing but, guys. Let me just emphasize: we are only 2-3% of the population, but we make up majority of the percentage that I got sickle cell. Now, something you mentioned there, and I think that, and I look back, guys, because I've been in, people can't back me up in the corner and say the church deals with health, because I've been in church all my life, and I'm a veteran, 40 odd years in the church and whatsoever. And I have to say, I have had somebody come up and said a speech about sickle cell for about 10, 20 minutes and 15 minutes. But I'm done. We have to forget that now. Put that aside, because it's okay to say NHS is treating us badly. Yeah, it's okay to say government is mistreating us badly. Yes, they can say our investment in our health has been poor from government officials. But where is our investment as a collective in the body of Christ into sickle cell? We don't see it as an importance. I'm not saying, Pastor, you haven't given you £10 to sickle cell. I'm not saying you haven't given you £50. Has there been a collective coming together for this health issue that affects primarily black people in our Christian circles? And as you said, sheer selection. Forget cures. Forget as we're going to get into in terms of not cures. It's not medicines. What do they call it? Like transfusions and different things. Treatments. We're going to get into treatments, guys. Yeah, but simple basics of selection. It's not being prejudiced. It's not being racist. It's not being nothing like that. Yeah, but it's to say, listen, dude, if you are both got the sickle cell trait and you got sickle cell, yeah, we need to be wise, and let's be hands up. Yeah, ASTAR, like, right up to my children's age. If you're a teenager now, unfortunately your parents haven't been in a culture where we've pushed and driven this. And I'm not saying this is the first time, but we can make this as a first time. We've seen massive drives. There have been drives in the past that have people that's championed sickle cell within the NHS. I've seen these people that flagged this up, but we need to drive this now on a mass level within our community. And I believe ASTAR, sorry guys, I always call him ASTAR. ASTAR is going to be one of the front runners of this through his organization that does need black people investing by giving finances and supporting, also partnerships, also platforms for this. As soon as I saw these guys, I'm not saying I'm special. I'm like, I start next week. I was ready to do last week. Yeah, I said straight away, let's talk about this right now. Platform is set there. I'm not saying everybody's just superb. What I'm saying is that we need to start being platforming ourselves and celebrating, investing ourselves. Sorry for the interjecting there, but just to really push on our people.
Yeah. And we need that. We need people of influence. There's no way you would know about UK gospel and not know about Roger Moore, not know about honestly not know about Soulful Link and GL Live and what the effects they have had on UK gospel as in general and worldwide gospel, because Roger's responsible for some of our biggest some of our biggest international gospel artists touching the UK. And if you don't know, so we need people like yourselves who have influence, who have a voice, who have a following, who have people that are willing to listen to you, to have conversations like this. And that's the aim for myself, to do that world, but also especially here in the UK. I think we should start. Everything always should start in-house, going out. 100%. Whether it's sharing the gospel or your faith, whether it's having conversations about the community.
Cool.
I can't have conversations with kings and prime ministers and queens if I can't have a conversation with my wife about sickle cell, or if I can't have a conversation with my cousin or my friend and tell him, bro, you're looking at that girl and you like her, or you're about to marry her. Do you know her genotype? And then if I can't have conversations in my community, how can I have conversations with presidents and prime ministers? So everything starts inwards and then it goes out.
And you know what's serious, guys, as well? I know what are people like, you know, when you feel like, you know, when you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose the girl of my dreams. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm going to lie about this, yeah? And let me, you know, I'm going to lose the man of my dreams. I'm going to lie about this. But I hope you get the vibe that sickle cell is not a vibes thing. It's a real thing. It's
not a test and see thing. Yeah.
It's not. When you got 3 children in front of you because of your lie that got sickle cell, and your partner saying, but you told me this, but you lied. Do you think your marriage gonna last so long after that? Right. You know what I'm saying? Let me be real with you in the hood, mate. You know what I'm saying? You know, you know what I'm saying? You'll be paying out some payments and you'll be chilling, you know what I mean? And you'll be driving all over the place like a joker. You won't be at home. You know what I'm saying? Because into this, that's a blatant lie. That's affected children's lives. You know,
I know that's happened to people who have been lied to. They told me that they didn't have sickle cell. They told me they didn't have the trait. You know, and it's real life, Roger. What you're saying is real life, man. It happens to people. That's real talk.
I must admit, I was a bit heart beating when my wife did it, you know. We did it, yeah. I was like, what's happening here? But but you know, it worked out cool. But bro, just explain as well, something that when I did the other podcast, we talk about treatments, and one of the ones, guys, I do put out a disclaimer. I don't do any of the ER or casualty programs. I am Grey's Anatomy. I jump out when it comes to operation per elements. I can give blood. I don't faint in life, but when it comes to programs, it makes me feel giddy. But growing up now, she explained to me about there's a blood transfusion element and so on. I thought blood transfusion is after a car accident and you lost blood and whatsoever, and now she's saying that that's a treatment. Is that been a treatment for long, or is it something that you've been involved with yourself, receiving that treatment of like blood transfusion?
I don't think it's something that they've had in the last 20 years when it comes to sickle cell. I could be wrong, but I remember when I was young, the treatment I started was a medicine called hydroxycarbamide, and that's what people with sickle cell took. I've been taking that since the age of like 9 or 10. I used to have my appointments in Belgium, and that's where they introduced that before the NHS had it here. So I would go back to Belgium every 3 months. I had to not skip school, but I had to miss school to my hospital appointments in another country.
Just to go to Belgium
every
to
3
get
months.
medication.
To Brussels to get my medication
because the medication wasn't available.
It wasn't introduced in
NHS. Wow.
Great Britain didn't have it yet. So that was that. And fast forward to 2017 or 2016, I proposed to my wife. I tell my doctors here in the UK that I'm about to get married. And they said, right, we need you to invite your wife in. So I go in with my wife and we sit down and they're like, we understand you want to get married and we're happy for you. But if you want to try for children, the hydroxycarbamide that you've been taking for nearly all your life, you have to come off that. And I'm like, why? And they said, because there's a type of chemotherapy in it. There's a type of chemo in it that could affect the reproductive system. So I've been taken aback, like, whoa, like I wasn't never told this. I think also another thing in the medical system, we need to really, really have a discussion about how people are told about what they're taking and all these kind of things. People need a clear information and indication of what they're taking, how it can affect their body, because a lot of people are not told. So I was told this is a type of chemo, it can affect your reproductive system, you have to come off it. So what did I do? When I got married, I came off it and I was having crisis back to back, non-stop. And then they introduced me to the transfusion program, which is what you're telling, which is what your wife was speaking about.
Got you.
So now my treatment is every 6 weeks I go into hospital and I get what you called an exchange transfusion, which is different to a blood transfusion. Exchange transfusion is where they put an injection here to put a line here and a line here, or it could be in your groin. I usually get in my groin because my veins are not good, and now I have to go into surgery for. And what they do in exchange transfusions is they draw blood from you first. So they draw blood from you, and what will happen is when they draw blood from you, myself, because I have sickle cell, your sickle cell levels will go down. and then they give you blood in the other tube, and that blood comes from people who donate blood. And I get 11 units of blood every 6 weeks. I'll send you some pictures so you can post up if you want. Me getting transfusion. I get 11 units of blood every 6 weeks. That blood comes from a generous person that says to themselves, I'm going to go and donate blood. On top of that, if you're black, you could have what is called the RO subtype. Check it up on Google. It's called RO subtype.
Superhuman.
The letter RO subtype. That's the best blood for people who have sickle cell. So if you have the RO, if you go and give blood or find out you have the RO subtype, you have the blood that is best for people who have sickle cell. So 9 times out of, probably 10 times out of 10, if you have the RO subtype, just know it's going to someone who does have sickle cell. And also now with the NHS, what they are doing is they are able to tell you through the NHS app where your blood has gone. So I know someone who got a message on the NHS app after donating blood, and it said your blood has gone to a children's hospital.
I love
so
that.
Kind of know, you know what I'm saying? You kind of know where your blood is going to, or who, or kind of get an idea of who's getting your blood. So that's the transfusion program that I get every 6 weeks. So it's very serious and yeah, it really helps. And that's why we encourage people to donate blood, because the blood I get comes from donors.
Listen, guys, right? So I can't believe this. On top of what I had last time, because if anybody watched the other video that I did, I spent half the time in my gob open and shut.
Right.
Hold on a second, yo. I just got a bunch of information, really crucial information. So again, you were taking a medication that was making you infertile, basically.
Yeah. They said it affects the reproductive system. You said it in a best way. To be honest. Yeah.
So whatever pretty way you said about it, it will make sure. And there was no, and that drug's been available for a while.
Like 20 plus years now.
20 plus years, and nobody worked out of it. I remember, and the reason why I correlate this, guys, yeah, because again, I want to correlate this to my epilepsy. So I had my first seizure when I was about 8 years old. So this would have been early 80s. So there was a drug at the time which gave you side effect of gum problems. And then there was another drug that just hit the market that had a side effect of obesity. You're just hungry all the time. Yeah, hungry all the time. So, you know, God bless mom. My mom saw me and said, you know what? I don't want you to have mashed up teeth. So she went with the one that made me eat a lot. Yeah. So I've been on that tablet for over 20 years of my life. Yeah. It was gone. So what happened, Roger? It didn't work, did it? But fortunately, I eat a lot, but I burn a lot as well, so I'll keep active and whatsoever. So I had to do certain things too, and it's not by intent. I was always hyperactive kid anyway, so I was fortunate my mum saw my hyperactiveness and knew that I could take that. But I had options. My mum had a choice. So if your mum had a choice between, so you went all the way to Belgium to have the only choice of medication for sickle cell in the 90s, correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, because in the 90s, not in 1955, 1976. I'm talking about 90s now. 90s when we've got the box, you know, we've got cable TV, you know, we're talking about them days there still, yeah. When I'm looking to when I'm getting married, man, you know, and in them periods there, that was a choice that makes you infertile, bro, that just blew my head, man, because I'm like, hold on a second, that disclaimer should be on there like a cigarette box. You know what I'm saying? You know, yo, yam this, you're gonna have no picnic, brethren.
Right. And I was only told that when I shared with my doctors that I'm engaged or and I'm about to get married, and I'm thinking, when are these conversations happening with, and I'm a male, remember that. So bro, for a woman who has sickle cell, I know women who have sickle cell that have, my own mum was taking it. So can you imagine a woman who's thinking one day, I want to have children, or I want to start a family, and they're taking this and they haven't been told? There could be very difficult consequences.
But the thing is, bro, again, you just gone through the barrier of saying, okay, we're making sure we both that you haven't got any sort of trait in you of sickle cell. Yeah. So you've gone through that hurdle and you're like, yes, plain sailing. And then you're gonna jump 2 weeks before the wedding. Oh, by the way, I could be infertile. Oh, that's a killer, blood. That's like that's like, yo, and there's no God in the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, committed what? Sickle cell on top of? Nah, bro. This is, guys. This is real. Yeah, I just want to. This is not plain stuff. And you know, I have to rate you as well, bro, because going through this time and journey you was going through, you were producing music. Yes, you might not have seen as consistently. But I have to bring in my favorite lick, yama Christian. Anyway, so I love that yama. You know what I'm saying? Yama. You was dropping very aggressive tracks for your evangelical, I would say evangelical type tracks. Yeah. Through your struggle, not only with sickle cell, but also you had to struggle in the home with your dad. I know the podcast that he did with Tunde them and whatsoever. You talked about, you know, the background that you had and growing up, you know, with your mum, whatever, on top of both having sickle cell, bro. And then on top of that, and this is why I say to people, we have amazing people in the UK doing gospel music that have to, just to produce the music, has to go through so much. Right. So the track is not just coming out of, yo, let me put these bars together and let me just drop it. Yeah. I'm nice. I got a Mercedes Benz. I'm doing good. I got a cool picture on Instagram. There's so much behind the scenes. Yeah, for real. That you would turn around to a man like you, bro. Say, bro, just let him go, cause he ain't done nothing for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so I have to really, again, as somebody in the scene who's seen your development and seen your growth, I mean, proud of your lyrical content, your boom, and you're straight in there, man, bro. Yeah, movie bars. To do that while have this struggle in the background is crazy. Now, you were saying that you know, with the transfusion now, and you were saying it really encouraging us to do transversion, and if it's something called conviction, guys, yeah. After this video, I might have to be logging onto the website straight away to get this video going on. So, and I know there's not a lot of us that give blood. Yeah, you wouldn't ask for something if you got enough. You know, 11 units. Emphasize 11 units, bro. I don't know, what is a unit. How much is a unit in milliliters?
That's a good question.
Yeah, let's do the Google search. Let's see.
So if you do blood units, how many milliliters blood unit per blood unit, then you would know.
Let's do this search here. Sorry, guys. Got blood unit converter. That's good.
So it'll be 1 unit is 500 milliliters. So it's like a bag this big, full of blood.
So you need 5 liters of blood?
So yeah. So I get 11 units. So 10 would be 5 liters. So just about 5 liters.
To be accurate, 5.5 liters.
Exactly.
Which, for anybody who wants to work it out, let's have a Volvic bottle. You have a liter Volvic bottle. You have 5 of them, plus a little one, and plus a big one. You know, a big sports bottle next to each other.
Every 6 weeks.
Goodness.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that you're not the only person with sickle cell in the UK. You know, and as he emphasised, there's is it 15,000? You said
15,000, and 1% of black people in the UK donate blood. 1%.
So 1% of the blood donors in this UK is
black.
Black.
Yeah, it's 1%.
Embarrassing. And I'm part of that embarrassment, people. You know what I mean? But I would say I have had an excuse, but you know, because when I was young, because my medication that I took, they said that, oh, you can't because it pollutes the blood and whatsoever.
Yeah, and there's some people that are exempt from low iron levels, or some of them have some illnesses that affect the blood, which means they can't donate blood. But you generally have people that are healthy, able to give blood, that choose not.
Yeah. And the thing is, I step on taking my medication now, so I can look into that and get my blood checked out and make sure that I've got all traces out of it, so I can do that 100%. And I think that what age group would you say it's safe for people to if they're 18? Would you say everybody above the age of 18?
From the age of 17, you're allowed to donate blood.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good, crazy. Sorry, guys, that is some heavy duty realization for our community. What we need to do. And I know I've seen Give Blood, and we know we've seen donor people coming to our spaces. But what I have said is that it comes in a very unconnected way, and this is what ASTAR is looking to do now. To delete
it's been like teachers coming into our spaces, or it's like someone from the outer world that we're like, that's got nothing to do with us. But when it's someone in our community speaking about it, we see them every day, or we listen to their music or whatever,
you believe them?
Or to our church, and that's when it becomes okay. This is personal now.
Yeah. It's like at school. Yeah. My senior school, we had white people come in and did specialized talk about slavery.
Right.
Yeah. Great idea, mate. Yeah, great. So for me, this is part of the drive, and this is what I want a thing to Xtra for, bro. Because one thing I know is life is bigger than the music, guys, and we got real people, got real issues, and we know Ali, that we love our people, we love our churches, we love what they've done for the community, how they've saved and kept our community, our cultures together. But unfortunately, the negative side is they're not handling certain elements that they should be handling better. Yeah, right. We're focused in on certain elements, but we need to get better in others. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having experts, and I believe we've got many medical experts who are passionate. I can't believe, bro, I'm finishing off a series with the NHS, and I've done a load of all black professionals within the NHS, and I'm going, and they want to communicate to us as a people, bro. They want to talk. So I'm going, so why aren't the doors open? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So now it needs to open, and we need to step up in that sort of area. So what now? Let's just talk direct about your organization and what you plan to do and how people can sew to you. So into you links, and on what I'm going to do, and we're going to touch base with music afterwards. But what I'll do, guys, is I'll just get you to send me a bit of a spiel, bro, and I'll put any description of the YouTube video, so you're nice in that. So just explain, name, claim the organization that you're gonna be you're setting up and everything, bro.
Yeah, so I've set up a charity, and it's called Hidden Pain Society. Our aim and mission is to do workshops in prisons, schools, places of worship, corporate organizations, go into the places where people are not really hearing about this, or places where people are not really going to talk about this, and to set up workshops to discuss sickle cell, what it is, and also blood donation and how people can help. I aim to do more as a charity. I aim to do blood drives where people can come and donate blood, host blood drives, and do different types of things surrounding sickle cell to help the community and to help raise awareness. So I just launched my Instagram and Twitter, which is Hidden Pain Society, and I'm working on doing an official launch, which I'll call you down for, Roger, later on this year to officially launch my charity. So I plan to also do a tour in the church, in local churches or mega churches around the UK, especially where there are black people predominantly, to speak about sickle cell and to get people to sign up to donate blood. What we will be doing is when we do these workshops in a church setting or wherever we are, we will have someone from the NHS with us who will be able to take names of people and sign them up straight away to put on the system for them to donate blood. So that will be something. We won't just be saying, go on this website, but we'll say, no, we have someone from the NHS with us who are able to sign you up straight away directly to donate blood. And I feel like especially the church needs a shaking. So that's what I'm aiming to do.
Come on.
One of the things I'm aiming to do through the charity.
Bro, like I said, bro, I've probably gone up 2 shades of lightness after this one, man. Bro, but I have to do some colorization to add some color to my face again, you know what I mean? So I can get that Wakanda feel, you get me? But now, bro, we'll be praying for you, and again, we'll be supporting with you. I'm going to be definitely looking at sitting down with you organizations and other organizations out there that's there to highlight things in our community. Yes, we are a gospel music station, but also at the same time we're passionate not only about black gospel music of black origin, but also passionate about black African issues. Yeah, let's be real, you know what I mean, let's get over it. African issues. And African wealth, not because we want to take over the world and be the pirates of it, and get everybody back, but because we want the better for our people and the generations to come. As simple as pie. But just as on the left side, just closing off, bro, you know, I said off air and I will say publicly, I bumped into, we did an interview together, myself and ASTAR, like just before COVID, I believe. He was just in when he opened doors and joined, and your little one was really little, and you know, I was in Birmingham when he came up and stayed over, and you know, it was really cool. When we did the interview. Now I'm looking at that period just before then, and I remember you released the album, which was one of the that album, and I know Governor released out another album round about the same time. And I'm looking at UK albums for the first time and actually pulling off 4 or 5 tracks that are ready for my show for the first time. Because Roger, you're rude. Let me just be real. You know, you don't really get the time to have 5 banging tracks for my show. You know, so I'm having loads of tracks here, excited about, you know, tours to come. We discussed about tours to come, and then boom, this thing called. And I think you did the event, and when lockdown was the weekend afterwards or a week after.
Week after. I had a launch party, and I wanted to do my first official like a UK tour. You know, I remember speaking to you about coming to Brum.
Yeah, Brum and everything.
And it's, you know, they hit us with the lockdown, man, and that one, I don't know what, I feel like I'm gutted but grateful at the same time, because I dropped my album a week before the first official lockdown. Then that whole year we had our daughter, and I was able to spend most of her first year with her at home, because it was all either working. I was made redundant that year, so I was at home, and it was a humbling experience just that whole time, man. So, but yeah, my album was out around that time, so it was an interesting season, man.
No, it's absolutely amazing. And there's Governor's album, and then Triple O hit us with an uppercut last year with his album, and I have to salute you guys, because you guys have been on it from you know for at least. You guys are maturing into your decade worth of UK, from your teenage years right into now rapping on stage, and it's great to see you guys are still in Christ. We've seen many people fall off, many people trying to go out there and do other things and so on, and you're still doing it. And I have to say you to the UK gospel scene, and I'm being blatant, not being biased about it, because I'm going to keep this on record, and I've said this, is that we have not celebrated these pieces of work as we should. Now, I am not a guy who does awards, bro. I'm not. You've never seen me do an award show, yeah? You never. So I'm not the guy who does shows like Affinity Extra award shows or Gospel Link magazine show. I've never done them, but I'm expecting accolades, UK gospel accolades with these albums. I know there was a couple of mobiles went by and so on, but we wasn't saluted enough, and I'm actually fed up from a media perspective. UK gospel getting excited about artists. God bless him on his spiritual journey, which is like Stormzy, and we're celebrating artists which are not producing music which will connect to our community. They're just connecting to tick boxes for worship in a UK perspective. So when we're looking at music to reach people, popular music to connect, our boys are doing it. And at the moment, we are actually, in fear to see that the genre of that these guys are in, UK rap, is now being gentrified and now being invested into if you don't look quite like us. And this is a serious thing, guys. So for me, I have to salute you guys for producing massively great pieces of work, but now it's time for us to actually call it out and get investment so you guys can produce more music, can support the next artist coming through, create pathways, reach new audiences. But sorry, I live in Birmingham, and whether you're white, black or Asian, teenagers love rap, UK rap. Not American rap, UK rap.
Right,
they love it. In and outside the church. So why isn't it being invested into? That's the question. I don't know how you feel, but if you think my speech went a bit too far on that one, bro.
I agree, bro. And I think even with the awards, I've never really been an award guy. Firstly, I don't really get like nominated and stuff. So I used to get. I think you would get to any artist that's passionate about their work, and I've done all this work and I'm not getting recognition. But I've got to a point where it's like I understand my purpose, and there's some people who do get recognized for their great work, but there's some people who don't, but still know when you find your lane and you know what your lane is about, what you're called to, and the kind of people you're reaching out to. The accolades like the awards and stuff, it becomes less important. It's great to be nominated by awards and for your work and stuff, but I'd rather focus on the work that I'm doing in my local community, whether it's the sickle cell work I'm doing or songs, the kind of songs that I'm making. With the song Born and Raised, I did a tune called One Click Away, that's battling with porn, and people approached me about that song privately to say, yo, I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't speak to anyone about it. Then I heard that song, and that kind of stuff is that's my awards. That's where it's like, like I've made a song that's connected with someone that they can connect with, and they can feel free to express how they feel. Or doing a song called Hidden Pain, where people with sickle cell are connecting with it worldwide. They're playing Hidden Pain everywhere and showing people the video. Like doctors are playing it in their staff meetings, and they're doing nursing training, and they're playing my video in hospital. They're playing my video in unis where doctors are being trained and nurses are being trained. Wow. To show them this is what it looks like to have sickles. That kind of stuff, like that's my reward. That's my reward. Roger, that's my reward. That's my mobile. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
And that's you can't beat that kind of stuff. So I've had to kind of change my mindset and be like, an award is great and the nomination is great, but the work that we're doing is much better.
No, I totally agree with it. And I just want to see you guys just come out with, them ones where he says, ASTAR 2020 or Triple O 2023, best male, best album, best single, best video. The one that's still, I want to see them sort of things, and it's just no dig at the awards. Because in the so the awards are the awards, and then you need to keep on doing. We need more of that, But it's just shout out to my media crew, because we know we input into them awards the information for that they do the awards from. We the ones who put in there, the community, and we need to really have a rain check and how we do things in there, and also industry leaders as well. That's where because I think that we'll recognize as well, and the great work that you are doing, bro. And like I said to you, yes, I could see that reflectiveness within your piece. I love that piece where you and what's his name, where you had that little battle about, you know, how he left the faith and so on.
Oh yeah, Doubts with Favor. That's another tune.
Yeah, bro.
Getting to about that, because no, we don't have that conversation, because it's reality, especially in UK culture, where we've seen so many veterans and people within the UK Christian gospel scene, music scene, that have strayed from the faith.
Yeah.
But we're not having these. We're having these conversations maybe privately, but not publicly. And my song "Doubts" with Favor Young was something that we had a private conversation about prior to that. That I said, this conversation is something that we don't have enough in public, so let's make a song about it. Favor said yes, I said yes, and we did it. And people are still talking about that still today.
It's a big tune, but because everybody makes it out that it's only Jahaza that's left the faith who has been a rapper, because he made it public, and you know, and we always will be forever praying for Jahaza. But what you have to realize is that you look at the let's take for example the cipher, which the one which basically Bible's Bible, where you had loads of artists. Not all of them guys are in the faith today, you know, and there's a lot of people they haven't gone extreme in anything. They just left the faith. You know, we seen, bro. If I look at all the artists that have been done GR live, who support acts, UK support acts, not all of them in the faith today. You know, and why not? They're up there proclaiming Jesus' name. You know what I mean? You know, investing their student loans on gospel albums.
Yeah.
Where are they now? What happened? Oh, just woke up, man. Yo, or just you know what I mean, bro. So many things, and that's a real conversation. That's why, you know, we have to critically analyze a lot of things, you know, out there in the faith, because when we start to ask questions, we got to answer. You know, we need to be having answers out there still, yeah. But listen, guys, want to go back. Just want to close off on back on the vibe, you know, in terms of with sickle cell. And what I want to do is 100% encourage people. I will be putting in as many links as I possibly can, pointing to where to get to give blood, and just want to emphasize. Correct me if I'm wrong, bro. Is it 4 to 6 weeks, or every 4 weeks?
Every 6 weeks.
Every 6 weeks.
For some it's every 4. For some it's every 8 weeks. Some 6 weeks. It depends.
Depends. So literally, it could be easy 4, 3, depending on the individual. They're needing, you know, ASTAR himself, for example, needs 5 liters of blood. I'm going, hold a second, I can't even see a liter coming out of me, you know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll start fainting afterwards. But people, and I don't want to make this a blicky black conversation, but I'm specifically saying to black people, fix up, man. We, including me, especially me, have to absolutely fix up and not stop liking pictures of ASTAR lying in hospital saying that God's brought him through, and start putting the like into action.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with that one, bro. Just want to say, just anything you want to say to close off, bro?
Yeah, just again, for people to sign up to www.blood.co.uk if you want to donate blood. Follow us at Hidden Pain Society on Instagram and Twitter, and please support us. And if you want to invite us to your workplace, your church, wherever it is, to come and do a workshop on sickle cell, send us a message, send us an email, info@hiddenpainsociety.co.uk, and we can definitely partner and set up workshops where we can come and do a workshop in your facility, in your community, and bring people from the NHS along to be able to sign people up to give blood. I'm more than happy to do that, and that's what I'll be focusing on in my charity. And hopefully I'll be able to get to a point where I'm doing it full time, because that's where my is.
100%. And any which artists or and I'll be honest with you, that's where our which artists and which footballers. Come on, man, we need to start bankrolling our community projects.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry,
shout out to Kozi Ramela. Hopefully listening to, you know, when you get that that bag, man. We need to be saying 1%, like Matter, you know, said that 1% he gives to charity. You know, we're not asking for no 10%. You know, 1% of a black footballers, Premiership footballers, wages can bankroll this project.
Right. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, you know, we got footballers on 300,000 a week. 1% of that, bro. Let's get the calculators out. That's 3G a week, bro. If I said 3G a week is guaranteed to you, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, you're on the streets, man. You know what I mean? You're out there, bro. You know what I mean? You're pushing it to another level. We educating people, helping to eradicate sickle cell out of our community, to take it to literally mere out of existence in 3-4 generations. But we can't do that because we don't see the importance.
Right.
So shout out to people out there. Hopefully I don't sound like a old poor black man who shouts and trying to bring out conviction into the rich black, affluent black. But
I appreciate you, man.
No. It's just keeping it 100, bro. You know what I mean? And you know, all the uncles out there, the bishops and the pastors out there that are blocking the platforms and also can be investing into charities that are for us. Yeah, we need to step up, man. We need to step up now. 100%. You want ASTAR to come and do gigs for £50 plus travel expenses? You know, let's pay him back, man. So, just on a cheeky one, in the Caribbean community, we have ginger beer and patty as the cheap payments. What is it in your churches?
It's jollof rice and Sprite, bro. That's what it is. It's jollof rice and Sprite. Here you go. Here's a jollof rice and Sprite. Thank you for coming to minister to our youth. That's it. Thank you for encouraging our youth to continue to strive in their faith. Thank you for traveling all the way from London to wherever it is. Here you go, jollof rice and Sprite.
Sorry, guys, I never knew that, you know. I never asked nobody that. I didn't think there was one, you know, but there's always one in it. Sorry. Sorry if I'm crying out laughing, man. But that is actually real out here, no Sprite, you know. Only us can do that, man. With some red chili sauce, man. But anyway, but listen, guys, take care. ASAP, thanks for jumping in this conversation. And yeah, man, guys, you know, check out the description, you know, guys, for any clicks and links out there, and do hit up the station and do check out ASTAR. Sure, if you find him out there, at Alidor, and also just check out all the social medias. You just Google search everything, he'll be all out there, man, guys. Yeah, but nothing but love, and thanks again, my brother.
Thank you.
Hey, this is your Bishop. This is your Bishop from Rock Solid. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for clicking and subscribing, and also sending these videos to other people as well. We are so hungry to get your support. So remember, check us out on our website, and also check us out on Insta, and wherever you want to find us on Spotify. You can play us all day as well. And just make sure that you are supporting this channel, that we are developing our agenda towards music of black origin, and that is gospel music with a message. So please walk with us on this journey. Bye now.